Chapter 9. Tunnel Vision. Okay, Darrell, you know the drill. Your heart stops, your lungs cease pumping, your vital signs sign off, and suddenly you lift off from your body and hover overhead. In fact, you hover over your own discarded body, and you feel terrific, beatific, like $1,000,000. You know you're dead, but it's not a downer, it's an upper. That's when the music fades in. A celestial serenade, harps, choirs, maybe a flute or two. Gorgeous. Hey, what's that brilliant swirl of light in the distance? You are ineluctably drawn toward it. It's at the end of a long tunnel. Gotta go there, just gotta. But wait, who's that standing at the entrance? Uncle Bertie?
Hey, Darrell, what's up?
Unc, I haven't seen you since you died in 1987. Wow. And Aunt Lulu, my old soccer coach Billy Wazelinski, Frank Sinatra. Holy Moses, this is it! I'm on my way to heaven!
Suddenly, a sepia-toned film starts playing in front of you. It's your very own biopic. The events, or at least the highlights, of your life on Earth unfolding on the screen. Look, there's your old doggy Buster racing across the grass toward you when you were only 6. But just then a voice booms from above. "Not so fast, Darrell," the voice says. "Your time has not yet come. You still have unfinished business on this side. You have to go back and complete your term as treasurer of the Knights of Columbus." And that's when you wake up on the operating table, gasping for breath.
Well, what happened?
You manage to sputter. A woman in a white coat looms over you. "You were gone for a bit there, Darrell," she says.
Gone?
"Clinically dead," she says, pointing to a heart monitor.
For how long?
"Oh, about 10 seconds," she replies. That's when you realize that you have just had a near-death experience, a phenomenon so popular that it is known to the in-crowd as simply NDE. You are in great company, Darrell. The list of glitterati who've had NDEs includes Elizabeth Taylor, Sharon Stone, Peter Sellers, Gary Busey, Eric Estrada, Donald Sutherland, Burt Reynolds, Chevy Chase, and Ozzy Osbourne, who actually died twice after a bike accident that left him in a coma for 8 days. Just so you know, we aren't talking about run-of-the-mill kooks here.
The NDE craze took off with the 1975 publication of Life After Life, The Investigation of a Phenomenon, Survival of Bodily Death, by Raymond Moody. Hundreds of unrelated people interviewed by Moody reported all or at least some of the experiences that you, Darrell, just had. The book was a huge bestseller. A film based on it hit the theaters. More and more NDEs were reported, and with the advent of the net, NDEers got in touch with one another to compare experiences. NDEs appeared to prove not only that there is an afterlife after all, but that the whole religion package is based on genuine experiences. What we had here was no less than empirical evidence of heaven, hell, God, Satan, telepathy, and doggy angels.
But, wouldn't you know it, just when the NDEers thought they had their case locked, along came some science and philosophy types to do their usual killjoy thing. These skeptics usually start off by admitting that they cannot disprove the existence of an afterlife, or even of a foretaste of it during clinical death. But on the other hand, the evidence offered, subjective reports of NDEs, does not prove the existence of an afterlife either. As with any paranormal experience, say seeing flying teapots circling your wife's head, there is no objective test to validate the person's experience. The principal question with NDEs is whether the experience has any connection to our regular empirical reality, the real world, as opposed to, say, being caused by brain farts.
Sudden snaps in the synapses are the skeptic's alternative explanation for the near-death experiences. They are an unusual form of brain activity, probably kicked into action by the trauma of kicking the bucket. Neurosurgeon Philip Carter reports, "The brain is the ultimate computer. When it shuts down and reboots, it comes back with a lot of activity that can cause changes." He suggests that both the experience and the memory of the NDE are the product of a brain altered by the event, just as epileptics, who report memories of transcendental experiences during seizures, have had unusual brain events that can be recorded by an EEG.
The monitor confirmed cardiac arrest as an elderly man suddenly lost consciousness. After about 20 seconds of resuscitation, he came to. Explaining to him that his heart had momentarily stopped, the doctor asked if he remembered anything unusual during that time. "I saw a bright light," he said, "and in front of me a man dressed in white." Excitedly, the doctor asked if he could describe the figure. "Sure, Doc," he replied. "It was you."
When NDEers argue back that a huge number of people report having similar near-death experiences and that this constitutes some kind of intersubjective consensus, the skeptics remain skeptical, pointing out that the similarity of details in NDEs is undoubtedly the product of communication. Just about everyone knows what an NDE should be like from watching TV, or from reading Moody's book, for that matter. They may also cite the fact that over 20% of Americans believe they have experienced alien abduction, not to mention a little inter-life-form hanky-panky. This stat casts a certain doubt over the NDE intersubjectivity argument. Carter and others actually think these NDEs are terrific, not because they signal an afterlife, but because they suggest the process of dying can be a pleasant one. Still, they find that only about 10% of near-deathers actually have one of these pleasant experiences. The great majority just feel scared and awful as they conk out.
But hang in there a minute, Darrell. There are also philosophers, not to mention mystics galore, who hold that altered mental states, whatever their origin, like, say, from ingesting a magic mushroom, give us a different kind of information about a reality that exists outside the boundaries of time and space. The 19th century American philosopher William James certainly thought so. In his masterwork, The Varieties of Religious Experience, James writes about his experiences under the influence of the drug nitrous oxide.